In next week's EastEnders, Denise's mental health deteriorates as she experiences psychosis, leading to her disappearance. Johnny grapples with guilt over Linda's revelation, while George struggles with Gloria's fallout. Denise turns to Lucas for help, Cindy supports George, and Dean humiliates Jade. A search ensues as Denise goes missing, Stacy ends things with Jack, and Chelsea confronts Johnny. Meanwhile, Suki takes control to protect a secret. Additionally, a new heartbreaking storyline unfolds for Denzel as his body image insecurities lead to a dangerous decision involving steroids, potentially resulting in tragedy. 10 huge EastEnders spoilers for next week. What's coming up in Walford? EastEnders spoilers follow. Next week on EastEnders, Denise sparks a panic when she goes missing, while Johnny reels from Linda's revelation and Dean humiliates Jade. Here's a full collection of the biggest moments coming up. 1. Denise's urge to see a doctor. Denise is in a terrible state and is still having hallucinations of Keanu, which she believes are real. Stacy goes to see her to voice Amy's previous concerns, but Denise tries to brush it off. When Denise finally begins to talk about what she's seeing and hearing, Stacy recognizes the signs that she's experiencing psychosis and tries to convince Denise to see a doctor. 2. Johnny reels from Linda's revelation. Johnny is reeling following Linda's revelation and is consumed with guilt about not being around for her sooner. Linda tries to console her son and promises that she'll stop drinking. In turn, Johnny vows to help his mom get sober. 3. George is struggling. George is finding it hard to cope with the fallout of his conversation with Gloria but isn't comfortable sharing his pain with Elaine. Instead, he leaves Cindy a voicemail to say he wishes she were there. 4. Denise turns back to Lucas. Ricky is convinced Denise is having a breakdown when he overhears her saying strange things. Amy, on the other hand, reckons she just needs to sleep. The situation intensifies when Denise rushes out of the back door and hides in a bush. Stacy manages to get Denise inside, where Yolanda and Pastor Clayton arrive to give her some support. Stacy isn't sure this is enough and tries to convince the others that Denise needs to see a psychiatrist. They're all unaware that Denise has gone to see the only person she believes can help her now, Lucas. 5. Cindy and George grow closer. Ian is rattled to hear Cindy has cut her trip short and come home but hasn't been to see him. Cindy is actually with George, who needs to talk through his anguish over Gloria and Eddie's court case. Cindy reminds George she'll always be there for him when he needs her. 6. Dean humiliates Jade. Dean is worried when he discovers Jade has been walking around the square in the cold. Jean encourages Nugget and Avani to befriend Jade, but Dean isn't happy when he arrives home to find Jade entertaining her new pals. Jade wants to continue hanging out with Nugget and Avani, but Dean refuses to allow this, insisting it's too cold for her to be outside. She defies Dean anyway, and he later finds her in McClunky's with her new friends. Jade is mortified when Dean gets strict with her in front of them. 7. Denise goes missing. At the prison, Lucas becomes worried by Denise's behavior and the things she is saying. Denise eventually arrives home in an agitated state and frightens the life out of Amy and Ricky. Denise explains she must get far away to keep them safe and grabs the car keys. Amy convinces Denise to let her go as well, and they drive off as Ricky desperately tries to reach Jack. Denise and Amy drive at high speed through a wooded area until Denise stops the car and rushes off into the night, leaving Amy alone and distraught. 8. Stacy ends things with Jack. Stacy confides in Suki that she's been seeing Jack and he now believes his marriage to Denise is over. Suki insists that Stacy must convince him to stay with his wife and end things for all their sakes. Taking Suki's advice, Stacy tells Jack their affair is over, but the conversation is interrupted when Lucas calls to share his fears about Denise. 9. Chelsea and Johnny clash. Word soon reaches Walford that Denise is missing, and the residents start coordinating a search party. At the Vic, Chelsea and Johnny have a tense conversation about Denise. Linda also becomes rattled by Chelsea's questions and struggles to hide it. 10. Suki takes control. With Denise's situation the talk of the square, Suki is determined to find a way out of it, no matter what happens. She insists to Stacy that the women need to rally around Denise and look after her in shifts if that's what it takes to protect their secret. BBC EastEnders spoilers reveal heartbreaking new storyline for Denzel as tragedy sealed. EastEnders spoilers reveal a new storyline for teenager Denzel Danes on the BBC soap after his recent struggles, which could end in tragedy if things escalate. The EastEnders Denzel Danes' new and worrying storyline will begin next week on the BBC soap. Spoilers have revealed what viewers had suspected would happen does in fact end up happening, when the teenager's insecurities about his body lead to a devastating decision. It could lead to tragedy on the show, as the character's issues lead to him buying steroids in a heartbreaking new plot. Recently the teen was attacked by school kids, and he wasn't able to help Yolanda Truman when she suffered a fall as he was being pinned against a wall by a bully. In the fallout, Denzel became keen to increase his body strength, with him glued to fitness videos on his phone and spending a lot of time at the gym. When girlfriend Amy Mitchell asked him what he was doing as she caught him eating a load of fried chicken at the fast food shop in Walford, when he was meant to be having dinner at her house, he claimed he was eating it for the protein. It's clear Denzel is becoming obsessive with fitness and building up his body after the attack, and this is about to get worse. Next week he is left deflated after a popular fitness influencer is keen to collaborate with him, but a video leads to nasty comments. Denzel is keen to film the workout video and asks pal Nugget to film it for him. When Nugget uploads the footage online without telling the teen, Denzel is devastated when he sees all the mean comments from users online about his physique. Denzel then reads one comment that leads to a worrying decision. He sees remarks about anabolic steroids and his interest is piqued, with him looking into them further. Later in the week, Denzel asks Yolanda for some money and claims it is for a school trip, with his dad Howie and stepmother Kim currently away from Walford. Denzel is lying though, and there is no trip, with him wanting the money for another reason. Denzel then uses the money to buy the steroids he has looked into, hoping they will change his physique as he continues to feel insecure. But will the twist lead to devastating scenes, and will anyone find out what is going on before he ends up in harm's way? Please subscribe our channel.